Hi, today is going to be a day of a different video where I look into some of the problems, major problems that come with the amazing number of deals signed in the past 5 to 10 years. So buckle up. This is not just for Airbus fanboys or Boeing fanboys, it's for everyone. Everyone within the industry. Everyone who loves any brand of aircraft. Like, subscribe, and share. Hi, welcome to a new video of mine. It's interesting that my last video where I hammered both the FAA and Boeing for collusion and corruption and lack of safety, I didn't get any attack for being an Airbus fanboy, which, to be honest, for the past 5-6 years I have been more fan of Airbus than Boeing. But back in the days, and some of you may remember me saying this in the past, I didn't like at all the Airbus A320. I didn't trust it, especially after the early crashes. I was like, no. And I love the Boeing 737. I love the McDonnell Douglas DC-9, the DC-10, the 777, the 757 actually also, and even had some nice experience in Boeing 767s myself. But at a certain moment, Boeing started to do what Boeing does lately. And Airbus, although they've made mistakes, there were these mistakes with the sensors on the A330 causing a deadly crash in the ocean, and some other errors, and also some bribing of government officials to sell military aircraft. Still, Airbus has been less vocal about the competition and more focusing on quality. And yes, they've had the big issue with the A350 when it comes to the paint, and I think it was at the start not handled so well from my perspective. Of course, none of us has all the details because Qatar Airways also can have a very big mouth, and it going to court for me was a step too far, but okay, in the end they resolved it. But nonetheless, that was a quality issue, big quality issue, which is still not very clear to me if they found a true solution for the new aircraft and what they're going to do with all those that have been already delivered. I'll put on screen the numbers because I don't know them by heart. But today I want to talk about Airbus from a different perspective, because yes, they have been collecting orders, huge orders, and even 2 days ago a new order was signed, or options were firmed by Cathay Pacific for A320s. And there's this big Wizz Air deal from early this month, and the Paris Air Show, it just exploded. And so fanboys on both sides, both Boeing and Airbus, with all the orders that were signed at the Paris Air Show, say, yay! Look at our bag, look how many orders we have. Yes, but that's a problem. And it's not yet clear if they will manage to actually deliver on all the promises. Both, but mainly Airbus. Because Airbus has the biggest backlog when it comes to the single-aisle family. I mean, the the larger aircraft, well, the production is slow. But the single aisle, they're pumping out aircrafts like a French bakery is pumping out croissants. And yet, the backlog is not shrinking. It's only growing. And with close to 7,000 A320neo family aircraft on the backlog, who want to order an Airbus? I mean, if today somebody orders an Airbus A320 family aircraft, unless they are doing this because they know that in 10 years from now they need something, or in 7 years from now, then it's okay. But in most cases, they need aircraft sooner, because now we're growing our network and we need aircraft. Well, good luck. There's no way you're going to get these aircraft. Yes, there are some slots for lessors, so you'll have to lease, so it will cost you more money, but still, there is a limitation also for the lessors, how much they can hand out to airlines. And so, being very happy for Airbus, or being an Airbus fanboy and being super happy, makes no sense. Because that is short-term thinking, like, yay, we have another order, yay! And with most orders, there is a down payment, a small down payment, that's often non-refundable. And then the real payment comes at delivery. So yeah, you got a few $1,000, maybe a few million today. But when will you get the rest? If you will ever get the rest. If you look at this airline, I forgot which one of the American companies, one of the mains, that had some Airbuses on order and kept deferring the delivery and deferring. Yeah, that's nice to have on the books, but it doesn't work because it's not going to bring in any money. And they may end up canceling them and not really losing money because they spend that money on the upfront payment years ago, over a decade ago. And I wouldn't like to be a salesperson at Airbus at this moment for the A320 family. The A220, okay, but the A320, what will I tell my customers? Yeah, it's a great aircraft, blah, 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 blah. When can I get it? Well, 7, 8 years from now, maybe 10. So, I like to always look at the full picture and also look in depth. And you see a lot of videos announcing orders and people being aesthetic. But unless you order for, you announce an order for an aircraft that can be delivered in the coming 2 years, maybe 3, there's nothing to celebrate. And yes, in the airline industry, a lot is about planning ahead, long term. But with the A320 family, it's way past those needs, especially with those aircraft, the number of orders. It's not about growth that will happen in 5 to 10 years from now. It's about growth that's happening now and next year, maybe the year after. And of course, part of it is a replacement for old aircraft, but the big part is not. And also for Boeing, for the 737 family, for the MAX, if they get their shit together, there'll be a lot of replacement happening. And with replacement, there's some flexibility. Airlines may be able to wait a little bit. On the other hand, with the fuel prices not really going down, they're not so happy to wait. Because every day they're waiting, they're losing money. They're paying more per flight. So this is also why I haven't been publishing videos around the air show about yay, more orders, yay, more orders. No, it's just, oh shit, the problem is only becoming bigger. There's a bigger delay. We have no clue when they will be delivered. Yeah, we're working on extending our facilities here and there, adding a new production line, transforming a production line, and Airbus will need to add at least 3 more lines if they want to deliver all these aircraft within a reasonable timeline. And they can try to rush things by making the production lines going faster, but I'm not sure that's gonna impact the quality in a positive way. Because if you want your people to run faster, then there's a higher chance of missing things. That's exactly what happened also at Boeing at certain moments, that they were rushing, and that's why mistakes were made. And you cannot blame the people who made the mistakes. You have to blame those who put those people in the position of making mistakes. So I'm talking now to the Airbus people. Don't make the mistakes Boeing made. Make sure that you guarantee the quality, and that you even have a little bit of space and margin for when there is something unexpected happening. And yes, it may cost you a little bit more, but having to go through what Boeing is going through is going to cost you much more. And if there's somebody at Airbus who's watching my video, which I'm not so sure about, but if they do, they'll probably say, wow, we already thought about this. Well, then publish about it. Tell us what you're doing. Help us take away these concerns. And not just for me as a YouTuber or as a hobbyist, but for airlines. Airlines who have real concerns about, well, we want to expand, but we need to wait, and we'll need to lease some old aircraft or stick with what we have, and it's not ideal. Or airlines we would love that great aircraft, but we have no idea when it will be deliverable, so we're not even starting to talk with Airbus. We're not going to waste time and energy on that. We'll look somewhere else. And where can they look? In some cases they can look at Embraer, which even the E2, it's a nice aircraft, it's not as efficient as the A220, for example, but people might still need it because it's better than flying with a A320ceo or a 737 next gen. But then it doesn't have the capacity, doesn't have the range. So airlines are really stuck. And I also know it's not so easy to just add another production line, because you have to deal with all the suppliers. There are a lot of suppliers when it comes to an aircraft, a lot. And all of them need to ramp up production, but they also have their suppliers. So can they get their suppliers to supply them with the parts they need to create the parts that will go in these aircraft? It's not so easy. There's a lot involved here. It's like a very long chain. That's why they call it the supply chain. But whatever part breaks in the chain stops everything. On both ends, it creates a problem. what comes before the break and also mainly what comes after the break. And that's why companies like Airbus and Boeing spend a lot of time, energy and money on getting the supply chain in check, in line. But then unfortunately we see also that they often squeeze them to get the lowest possible prices. And that's when you start weakening the chain. So you need to find the right balance, which could mean that each of us flying needs to pay $10 more per flight. If that would be the case, and I'm sure with $10 per flight on a short haul and $20 on a long haul and $30 on an ultra long haul flight, people could still afford it. But that difference in money could mean that production could be optimized. That companies would not need to cut corners to meet the requirements for extreme low prices. But for that, people need to be less greedy and not wanting always to have the lowest possible price for everything. And people would start to look at what's more reasonable. So this was a different kind of video. I don't know if you like this. I can actually record more videos where I dive into problems in the industry. Feel free to drop a subject, to send me some information if you want to see a video about something, and see you back in another one. Have a wonderful day. Like, subscribe and share.